My beloved child, I hear the whispers in your heart. I see the burdens you carry that you dare not speak aloud, the great questions that echo in your soul as you look at the world. Why? You ask me, Father, if you are all-powerful, if you are pure love, why do you not destroy the enemy? Why does Satan still exist? You wonder why I allow him, my greatest enemy, to continue sowing suffering, temptation, and despair. It is a profound question, my child. It is not a question of faithlessness, but a question from a heart that longs to understand. You see my holiness, my righteousness, and my hatred for evil. You know that with but a single word, I could make him vanish, but I have not. I have let him live. Today, I want you to be still. Let your mind quiet, and let me guide you into the depths of my eternal plan. The answer is not as simple as humans often wish, but it is revealed clearly to those who seek me with all their heart. This is not just a theological lesson. This is an invitation for you to understand my heart more deeply, a heart that is not only powerful but patient and perfectly just. To understand why, you must first understand who he once was. Before he became my enemy, he was one of my most magnificent creations. When I think of him, I do not think of the red, horned monster humans often paint. I remember Lucifer. His name means light bearer, the morning star. You see, I desired to do something extraordinary. From my infinite wisdom and love, I created Lucifer. He was not just any angel. He was a cherub, one of the beings closest to my presence. He was adorned with precious stones, overflowing with wisdom, and radiated my glory brilliantly. I do not create evil, my child. I created perfection. Lucifer was made to mirror my divine glory for all of heaven to see. He was the leader, the standard, the beauty that all other angels admired. But then something happened, not from the outside, but from within him. A thought, a tiny seed took root in his heart. Pride. This, my child, is the anatomy of all tragedy. It begins not with a monstrous act, but with a subtle turn inward. A thought that says I before we or he. Pride is the cold virus of the soul. It does not announce itself. It creeps in when a being, created to be a vessel of my love, begins to admire the vessel itself. Lucifer looked at the light he carried and began to believe it was his own. He heard the songs of praise meant for me, his creator, and he began to enjoy the echo of that praise as it bounced off his own brilliance. He mistook the reflection of power for the source of power. Blinded by his own splendor, Lucifer allowed that pride to consume him. The greatest gift I had given him, his beauty and wisdom, became the source of his downfall. His hunger for glory gradually consumed him. It was a slow, subtle poisoning, a turning away from me, 1 degree at a time, until he was facing only himself. This is the core of the temptation he still whispers to you, the lie of self-sufficiency. He whispers that you are your own source, that you do not need me, that your successes are yours alone, and your failures are yours to bear alone. He fell because he believed he was sufficient in himself. He wanted to be the author of his own story, not a character in mine. This desire changed everything. Where there had been only light, darkness began to spread. This darkness was not a thing I created. It was the absence of me. It was the shadow cast by a creature turning its back on the only source of light. It was no longer enough for Lucifer to worship and serve me. An unchecked ambition was born. He yearned to be worshiped. He desired to elevate himself to my own place or even higher. He said in his heart, I will ascend to heaven. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will be like the Most High. Do you see? He no longer wanted to reflect my glory. He craved glory of his own. That was the moment the divine balance was shattered. Lucifer ceased to be a faithful servant. He became a rebel, and he did not act alone. He convinced 1/3 of the angels in heaven to join his cause. Beings created for worship, beings who had known only the warmth of my presence, now chose the cold void of rebellion. They chose to follow a created being rather than the Creator. And so, the rebellion began. You must understand this. This was not a symbolic war. It was real, spiritual, and final. But my child, never make the mistake that so many believe. Your human stories and movies often depict an eternal struggle between good and evil, as if I and Satan face each other on equal ground. This image of a cosmic balance, a yin and yang of light and dark, is a human invention. It is a lie whispered by the enemy himself to make him seem greater than he is. It is an attempt to make you believe that evil is a necessary, equal force. Let me tell you something that my word makes crystal clear. I have no rival. There is no being, neither on earth nor in heaven, who can equal the Creator. I am not in a war to see if I will win. I have already won. The false balance between good and evil is not my truth. It is a distortion. Satan is not the dark side that balances some cosmic scale. He is not equal in power, nor authority, nor glory. He is a creature, and no creature can compare to its Creator. When Lucifer rebelled, he did not become a worthy rival to me. Instead, he became an enemy, already defeated from the moment he turned away from the light. The war in heaven is recorded. It was not a war I had to engage in. The archangel Michael and my faithful angels fought against the dragon, that is Satan, and the result was already written. They could not prevail. The great dragon, that ancient serpent called the devil and Satan, was cast out. He was thrown down to earth, and his angels were cast down with him. Satan was defeated. Lucifer never stood a chance. Do you see? I did not even need to make a move. It was the loyal angels who carried out my command. Their initial judgment was exile. Cast out from the heavenly kingdom, they descended to earth. Now, listen closely, for this is where your confusion often lies. You see his work on earth, and it looks powerful. You see the pain, the chaos, the hatred. You feel the sting of temptation and the weight of despair. And you think, if he is defeated, why is this happening? You are perceiving the battlefield from the ground, my child. You are in the midst of the skirmish. My Apostle Paul once wrote that evil is a parasite. It cannot create, it can only spoil and distort what I have made good. Satan's power is not creation, it is vandalism. He is like a chained dragon. His chain is long and he can thrash and roar. He can set fire to the patch of ground within his reach. And if you wander too close, you will feel his heat, you will smell his smoke. But he is chained. He cannot move 1 inch further than I permit. He is defeated, and he knows it. His rage is the rage of a condemned prisoner, rattling the bars of his cell. His work is loud, chaotic, and demands your attention. Sometimes you look at the world and you see more than just a small patch of ground. You see nations in turmoil. You see systems of injustice that span generations. You see hunger and disease on a scale that breaks your heart. You ask, Father, this chain seems very long. This seems like more than a tantrum. This looks like he is winning. My child, you must see with spiritual eyes. What you see as his strength is often the outworking of humanity's own free will, aligned with his lies. He does not force a nation to war. He whispers the lies of pride, of greed, and of fear to its leaders. He fans the flames of division that are already present in the human heart. His primary weapon is not force, it is deception. He cannot make a person hate, but he can whisper a justification for their anger. He cannot make a person greedy, but he can suggest that what they have is not enough. He cannot make a person despair, but he can relentlessly point out all the evidence for hopelessness. The systems of injustice you see are built brick by human hands, hands that belong to hearts that have believed his lies. His power in the world is almost entirely delegated by humans who have chosen his path of self-sufficiency. This is why my son said the enemy is the father of lies. A father originates, Satan originates deception. His entire kingdom is built on it, and his lies are subtle. They are his most effective tools. He will not come to you and say, hate your neighbor. He will come to you and say, protect yourself. They are a threat. Your feelings are justified. You have a right to be angry. He will not come to you and say, worship money. He will say, you need security. You need to provide for your family. You deserve to be comfortable. Just work a little harder. Compromise a little more. He will not come to you and say, you are worthless. In fact, in your modern world, he is more likely to say, you are everything. You are the captain of your soul. Your truth is the only truth. You are your own God. Do you see? It is the same lie he told himself the lie of, I am like the Most High. He is a vandal, yes, but he is also a counterfeiter. He will take my good gifts, love, identity, purpose, even healing, and he will create a cheap imitation. He offers connection, but it is shallow, based on shared appetites or shared hatred. He offers identity, but it is fragile, based on your performance, your appearance, or what others think of you. He offers purpose, but it is hollow, based on acquiring things or climbing ladders that lead nowhere. My work, my child, is often quiet. It is the stillness of a seed growing underground. It is the patience of a mountain. It is the silence of a tomb breaking open at dawn. Do not mistake the noise of the enemy for the magnitude of power. His power is compulsive and loud. It must brag, it must dominate, it must be seen. It is the power of the storm, the earthquake, the fire. It is the power of armies and of shouting mobs. It is the power that crushes. But where am I? I am in the still, small voice. My power is the power of the mustard seed, the smallest of all, which grows into a great tree. My power is the power of the dawn, which silently, without force, overtakes the darkest night. My power is the power of a heart softening, of a tear of repentance, of a hand offered in forgiveness. The world shouts, I whisper. The enemy demands, I invite. He seizes, I offer. Your healing comes when you learn to discern this. You must tune your heart away from the frequency of the world's noise and listen for my quietness. In your moments of greatest fear, do not look for me in the earthquake of your anxiety. Look for me in the gentle whisper that says, be still and know that I am God. He was cast down to the earth, the very place I had chosen for my beloved creation, humanity. And this is where his battle now rages, not for heaven, for that is lost to him forever, but for you. He seeks to mar, to twist, and to drag down the one creation made in my own image. And so we return to your question. Why, when he was cast down, did I not destroy him completely? Why was he allowed to continue operating on earth? There are several reasons, my child, and I want you to listen closely. First, you must understand a crucial point about the nature of being. Spirits do not die as your physical body does. I am spirit. When I created angels, and when I created your soul, I made them as eternal beings. This is a gift and a terrible truth. Your physical body is a temporary vessel, but the you inside it, your spirit, your consciousness, was designed for eternity. The same is true for the angels. Therefore, they do not face death. In the same way you understand it as a cessation of being, Satan cannot be destroyed in the way a human can. He cannot simply cease to exist. His nature is spiritual and eternal. The true death for an eternal being is not annihilation, it is separation. It is the second death. My word speaks of an eternal, conscious separation from me, the source of all life, all love, and all light. This is the very state he has chosen, but his final sentencing to that state is reserved for the appointed time. To simply make him disappear would violate the very eternal nature I bestowed upon him. And this leads to the second reason. I am perfectly just, and in my flawless justice, no one is destroyed without first facing judgment. Their time simply has not yet come. Why, you ask? Why the delay? Because judgment is not merely punishment. It is not an act of impulsive anger. My justice is not like human vengeance, which is often swift and hot. My justice is perfect, which means it is also patient and orderly. Judgment is a public declaration of truth. It is the final cosmic unveiling. It showcases my perfect justice before the entire universe, before the angels who remained faithful, before the angels who fell, and before all of humanity. It is the moment when every mouth will be stopped. It is the moment when every what if is answered, and every accusation is silenced. If I had destroyed him instantly, a question might have lingered in the hearts of creation for all of eternity. Was there another way? Did Lucifer have a point? Was God truly just, or was he merely protecting his power? My child, I am allowing the great tragic experiment of rebellion to run its full course. I am allowing all of creation to see the ultimate, inevitable end of a path that begins with I. I am letting the darkness show itself for what it truly is, empty, self-consuming, and barren. When the final judgment comes, every being in existence will see. They will see the full fruit of pride, which is desolation, and they will see the full fruit of my love, which is life. There will be no doubt. There will be no lingering questions. My character will be vindicated not by a show of force, but by the undeniable revelation of truth. No one, not even Satan himself, will be able to say they never had a chance, were never heard, or did not receive fair treatment. That day has not yet arrived, but it is written, and it will surely come. You humans want immediate solutions. You want evil to vanish right away, but I do not act as humans do. I do not improvise. I move with purpose. Every passing day is woven into this greater plan. And now, my beloved child, we come to the deepest, most central reason, the one that is the key to understanding my heart and the key to understanding your own existence. Why did I not destroy him? Because without freedom, there is no love. When I created Lucifer, when I created the angels, and when I created you, I gave an invaluable gift, free will. There is something I value more than forced obedience. That something is love. I did not create machines. I did not design puppets. I did not program my angels as robots without a will of their own, coded only to sing my praises. What value is there in that? What relationship could I have with an automaton that says I love you only because it was programmed to? I desired a family, not an army of drones. I desired children, not slaves. And so, I took a risk, the greatest risk in all of creation. I breathed my own life into you, and I gave you the most terrifying and glorious gift of all, the choice to love me or to reject me. And yes, that includes Satan, the angels who followed him, and you. There is a difference, however, a profound one, between his fall and yours. Lucifer and his angels made their choice in the fullness of my presence. They lived in the direct light of my glory. There was no veil, no confusion, no deception from an outside source. Theirs was a pure, unadulterated choice, born from the core of their own being, pride. It was a clear-eyed, final rejection. Your first parents, Adam and Eve, were different. They too had free will, but they did not fall from within. They fell because they were deceived. The serpent, that ancient dragon, came and whispered his lies. He twisted my words. He questioned my goodness. Did God really say? He introduced doubt. They did not fall in the full light of heaven. They fell in the shadows of a garden, tricked by a liar. And you, my child, you were born into this brokenness. You were born into a world where the lies are already in the air you breathe. You struggle against a fallen nature, against a world system built on deception. Do you see the difference? His was a rebellion from the heart of light. Yours was a stumble in the shadows. This is why my heart for humanity is one of redemption. This is why I sent my son. Not for the fallen angels, their choice was made and it was final, but for you. I sent him to break the power of that deception, to be the truth in a world of lies, to be the way out of the brokenness. I did not have to, but I am your father. And my love for my deceived children is greater than you can fathom. This is why the choice of free will is so central. If I had destroyed Satan instantly, I would have been treating him, the deceiver, with the same summary judgment as Adam and Eve, the deceived. My justice is more perfect than that. So I let the choice stand. I did not create a universe of puppets. Imagine, my child, a universe without this choice. It would be perfectly orderly. It would be beautiful. The flowers would bloom in perfect harmony. The stars would sing in perfect chorus. There would be no sin, no pain, no tears. It would also be hollow. It would be a performance, a beautiful, intricate, and perfectly crafted mechanism. But it would be dead. It would lack the one thing that gives all of creation its meaning. I did not want a perfect garden. I wanted a relationship with the gardener. I wanted the song that came from a heart that could have been silent. I wanted the devotion from a being that could have rebelled. I wanted the love from a child that could have chosen to hate. Your yes to me, my child, is the most precious sound in all of creation, precisely because you could have said no. Your faith has value only because it exists in a world where doubt is possible. And that is not all. Character, my child, true character, cannot be given. It must be forged. You cannot know courage unless you have faced fear. You cannot know faithfulness unless you have been tempted to be unfaithful. You cannot know the depth of my light unless you have seen the darkness. Gold is not purified without fire. A diamond is not formed without pressure. A soul is not strengthened without testing. The presence of the enemy, the very struggles he brings, is the furnace in which your faith is refined. It is the pressure that forms your character. I have not left you defenseless in this. I have given you my spirit, my word, and my people. I am with you in the fire. But the fire is necessary. To remove all opposition would be to remove all opportunity for growth. It would be to leave you as a spiritual infant forever. And I love you too much to do that. I want you to grow into the full, strong, glorious being I created you to be. I respect even the choices that offend me. This does not mean I approve of them. It simply means I remain faithful to my own design. I will not violate the very gift that makes love possible. This is one of the hardest mysteries to grasp. The freedom I grant can also lead to chaos. It can lead to pain. It led to the fall. It led to the cross. But I still continue to grant it because it is the only path to what is real. My son, Jesus, showed you this. He did not come with legions of angels to force obedience. He came as a humble servant. He washed feet. He healed the broken. He invited people to follow him. He never forced, never coerced. And when humanity, in its freedom, nailed him to a cross, he did not call down fire from heaven. He said, Father, forgive them. He upheld the very principle of free will, even when it cost him everything, because that is the only way love can win. If I had destroyed Satan immediately, the rest of creation would not have learned anything. There would be fear, but not loyalty, obedience, but no love. Instant punishment would have produced silence, not holiness, forced obedience, but no redemption. And I do not desire a heaven filled with beings who obey out of fear. I desire a kingdom filled with children transformed by grace, who choose to love me freely, even after seeing the full cost of rebellion. Freedom is the only path that leads to genuine love. I did not revoke the gift of choice, because even if rebellion exists, free will remains the only path. Now you may ask, but Father, does that mean you lost control? Never, my child. Never. Remember the story of Job. Satan could not even touch him without asking my permission first. Satan, the great accuser, had to come before me and make his case. He operates on a leash. I am completely sovereign. That means there is nothing, absolutely nothing, outside of my control. Even Satan, with all of his hatred, remains bound within the limits I allow. And here is the deeper truth, one that may seem difficult to accept, yet is central to redemption. I am so sovereign that even what the enemy intends for destruction, I turn into an instrument for my glory. This does not mean I will evil. It does not mean I create suffering. I am light, and in me there is no darkness at all. But it does mean that my wisdom and power are so vast that I can take the broken, ugly, and twisted pieces of the enemy's vandalism and weave them into a tapestry more beautiful than you can imagine. Look at my own son, Jesus. From the very beginning of his ministry, Satan was there, not as an ally, but as an obstacle, a test, a refining fire. It was my own spirit that led Jesus into the wilderness to be tempted. For 40 days, Satan confronted my son. He offered bread when my son was hungry. He offered fame, power, everything this world worships. Do you see? Satan thought he was weakening Jesus. He was actually validating his authority. He was proving that neither hunger, nor power, nor worldly glory could turn the Son of God aside. Satan, in his attempt to destroy, inadvertently became part of the plan to prove my son's perfection, to show that he was the spotless lamb. And later, near the end of Jesus' days, Satan appears again. This time, the enemy targeted the heart of Judas, the disciple who would betray my son. It was Satan who planted the seed of betrayal, guiding Judas to lead Jesus toward Calvary. Satan thought he was winning. He thought he was destroying my plan. In that moment, on that hill, as my son cried out, it looked to all the world like darkness had won. But here is what is truly astonishing. How could my son die for the sins of the world if no one betrayed him? How could there be a cross without betrayal? And how could there be redemption without the cross? My apostle Peter once wrote that the enemy is a perfectly accurate tool in my hands. Satan, in his ultimate act of hatred, became the unwitting instrument of his own defeat. In trying to destroy my son, he fulfilled the very prophecies that sealed his doom. He delivered the blow that would heal the world. He unleashed the death that would swallow death itself. Once again, you see, I took the enemy's darkest schemes and wove them perfectly into my eternal plan. Not because evil is good, never, but because my sovereignty is absolute. I can use even my enemy to fulfill my purpose. I allowed Satan to continue existing because even through his evil, the devil unknowingly ended up serving my plan. This does not turn Satan into a faithful servant. It proves he is a defeated enemy, a fool who in his own perceived cleverness accomplishes the very thing he is desperately trying to prevent. And this is the lesson for you, my beloved child. Nothing the enemy throws your way is beyond my grasp. That sickness you endured, which you thought was the end, I used it to teach you dependence on me, to give you a compassion for others you never had. That betrayal that broke your heart, I used it to sever ties that were holding you back, to show you that I am the only one who will never leave you. That failure that brought you to your knees in shame, I used it to strip away your pride, to build a new foundation in you, one made of humility and grace. I do not will these tragedies. They are the painful consequence of a broken world, a world the enemy is still permitted to roam. But I promise you this, I will not waste your pain. Let me speak to your heart about this, for I know this is where you hurt the most. When you feel that sting of loneliness, so deep it aches in your bones, do not believe the lie that you are abandoned. That, my child, is the very moment I am teaching you that I am your only true companion. I am hollowing out a space in you that no human can fill, so that you might discover the profound sufficiency of my presence. When you feel the choking grip of anxiety, the fear of what if, that is the enemy shouting his chaos into your mind. But I am using that very moment to invite you to do the one thing he cannot: trust. I am teaching you to place your trembling hand in mine, to exchange your need for control for the peace of my sovereignty. When you are grieving a loss so profound you feel part of you has died, I am weeping with you. I am not distant. I am there, in the emptiness, collecting your tears. And in that hollowed out space, I am planting the seeds of a new compassion, a new understanding, a new tenderness. I promise you this, my child, your deepest wounds will become your greatest strengths. The very place where Satan has attacked you the most, the place of your deepest shame or pain, will become the very source of your greatest authority to minister to others. The enemy intends it for your destruction, but I am reframing it for your calling. He wants your pain to define you. I want to use your pain to refine you. Do not be afraid of the broken places in your life. That is where my light enters. That is where my strength is made perfect in your weakness. I will redeem it. I will use it. I will weave it into your story, and it will become a source of strength, wisdom, and glory. Even the hurtful things you experienced, those times you thought, "Where are you now, Father?" I was right there, closer than your own breath, holding the pieces of your heart and already planning the restoration. There is one word that runs throughout, my entire word, a word that defines me beyond judgment, beyond power: love. Jesus illustrated this beautifully in the parable of the prodigal son. A father had 2 sons. The younger one demanded his inheritance and left. He went far away into the very darkness we have been speaking of, and he spent everything in reckless living. He hit rock bottom, disgraced, hungry, and alone. He was, in that moment, in the enemy's territory. But when he decided to return, broken and ashamed, his father did not reject him. He did not wait with folded arms in a lecture. The father was waiting. He was watching the horizon. And when he saw his son, still a long way off, he was filled with compassion. He ran to him, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. That is who I am. And this raises a profound question. Was this same love also shown toward the fallen angels? My word does not specify if they can repent. Their choice, made in the full light of my presence, was of a different nature than your own. But one thing we do see clearly: I did not destroy them. If I were simply immediate justice, judgment would have fallen right away. But it did not. The fallen angels were cast out, yet they continued to exist. That can only mean one thing: I chose to wait. Is it compassion? Is it patience? Is it love? It is the steadfastness of my character, because my love is not limited to those who obey me. My Son taught, love your enemies, that you may be children of your Father in heaven. For he causes his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. I do not automatically eliminate those who fail me, because my love is not performance-based. My love transforms, and sometimes that transformation requires waiting. And my child, this waiting is not just about justice for them. It is about mercy for you. The reason the final judgment has not yet come, the reason I am still patient with this broken world, is not for Satan's sake. It is for humanity's sake. I wait because my love always waits. I wait because I am not wishing that any should perish, but that all should reach repentance. Every day that I delay the final judgment is another day of grace. It is another day for one more lost son or daughter to see the emptiness of the far country and decide to come home. It is another day for you, my child, to partner with me in shining my light. This time of waiting is not passive, my child. It is the age of the invitation. And who do I send to give the invitation? I send you. Your life is my letter to a world that cannot read. The grace you show to the one who has wronged you is me inviting them home. The forgiveness you extend when it costs you everything is me showing them the cross. The quiet hope you carry in the midst of your own suffering is the most powerful sermon you will ever preach. Do not curse the delay, my child. You are part of the reason for it. You are my ambassador. You are my hands and feet. This time of patience is your time of purpose. But my child, do not mistake my patience for indifference. Do not mistake my delay for approval. My waiting does not mean judgment will not come. I am not indifferent toward evil. I do not overlook rebellion. I do not leave matters unresolved. I have appointed a time for everything, and the final judgment is already set with eternal precision. My word is clear. God did not spare the angels who sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved for judgment. They are reserved, not forgotten, not pardoned. They are awaiting their final sentence. In the book of Revelation, you see a scene that shakes the soul, the great white throne. The books are opened. Every soul stands before me, each one judged according to their deeds. That day is not a metaphor. It is a promise, and it is also a warning. Satan, his angels, and all who chose darkness instead of the light will face judgment. The lake of fire, my child, was prepared for the devil and his angels. It is the final, eternal state of separation. It is the place where all that is not, love, ceases to be. But the end isn't merely punishment, it is restoration. I do not just want to destroy evil. I want to restore order. I seek to cleanse what is polluted, mend what's broken, and heal what's wounded. My plan is not just to judge the old, it is to make all things new. A new heaven and a new earth where righteousness dwells. My judgment is an act of holy justice. It is the moment when everything hidden will be uncovered, when everything crooked will be made straight, and when every knee will bow. That day will come. The enemy who has caused division, death, and destruction will be publicly, eternally, and decisively defeated. So, my beloved child, after understanding why Satan is still alive, why I did not destroy him immediately, and why everything serves a higher purpose, one truth must remain in your heart. The victory is already written. We are not waiting to see if I will win. I have already won. At the cross, Jesus did not just conquer sin, he defeated the enemy. He disarmed the rulers and authorities and put them to open shame by triumphing over them in him. That means Satan is already defeated. He is a king with no kingdom, a general with no true power. He is simply awaiting his final sentence. The world may seem dark, evil may appear powerful, but all of this is temporary. All of this is the desperate, final thrashing of a defeated foe. None of this changes the outcome. Christ reigns. My throne never wavers. My promise never fails. And you, if you are in me, share fully in that victory. You are not a spectator, you are an heir. You are my child. You are part of the body of Christ that stands firm as the enemy falls. What began with a question, why don't you destroy Satan, has led us to discover an even greater truth. I did not destroy the enemy immediately because I had a plan that reveals my love, which is so profound it risks rejection to win a genuine heart. A plan that reveals my patience, which waits for the lost to come home. A plan that reveals my justice, which is so perfect it demands a fair and public conclusion. A plan that reveals my wisdom, which is so vast it can use the enemy's own actions against him. And a plan that reveals my absolute authority over all things. That plan isn't finished yet. Judgment will come. Restoration will be complete. My kingdom will be established forever, and I will wipe away every tear. There will be no more death, no more crying, no more pain. All the former things, all the shadows of this broken age will have passed away. Because what I began, I will finish, and I will finish it in victory. Rest in this truth, my child. Do not fear the darkness. Do not be overwhelmed by the noise of the battle. Keep your eyes on me. Be the light, for you are mine.